welcome back. As governments make significant interventions in response to the coronavirus, businesses are rapidly adjusting to the changing needs of their people, their customers and suppliers while navigating the financial and operational challenges. With every industry, function and geography affected, now the amount of potential change to think through can be daunting. Let's talk to Matt Kindiger, the Senior Analyst Sub-Saharan Africa at Docker Frontier London, to tell us how this pandemic is impacting businesses in terms of demand, trends, and operating conditions. Good afternoon, Matt. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
We've seen lockdowns being in place across Africa for several weeks now. How have these affected business activity?
Certainly. So the data that is available shows that business sentiment has weakened considerably across Africa. Obviously, there have been variations across markets, but one indicator that we've been tracking is the Purchasing Managers Index. Several large African economies, including Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, report the Purchasing Managers Index, and we've seen this slump into deeply contractionary territory. So this shows that businesses are expecting much weaker demand, or they have experienced much weaker demand in recent months, and they are expecting the next few months to be particularly difficult. So this does show that the lockdowns have had a direct impact on business sentiment and business activity. In terms of the sectors that have seen the most direct impact from the lockdowns and restrictions around COVID-19, it's definitely been the sectors of travel, hospitality, tourism and retail that have suffered the most. But we are also likely to see a weaker activity in manufacturing and agriculture going forwards over the next few months. And this is because travel restrictions, border closures related to COVID-19 lockdowns will have an effect on supply chains in these sectors. But I will note that because the crisis is so fresh, we won't get hard data to see how the lockdowns have affected these economies and sectors very clearly until around the end of Q2, so around about July this year.
Well, while we wait for this data now, what trends in foreign and domestic investment have emerged since the start of the pandemic?
So again, we probably won't see data emerge for foreign and domestic investment yet. We'll probably have to wait until next year, but anecdotally, we are seeing a slowdown in investment in sub-Saharan Africa. We are seeing a number of multinationals reducing headcount in Africa, focusing on their core activities in other parts of the world, and also delaying investment decisions. There are some companies who are continuing to focus on their longer-term investment strategies, but by and large, most companies are sort of sitting tight and waiting to see what happens. Looking ahead, we do expect to see a decline in foreign direct investment this year in sub-Saharan Africa, especially in countries that are most exposed or most reliant on foreign direct investment from Europe and North America. It's also important to note that levels of public sector investment are expected to be very weak this year. Many governments across the continent are battling with much weaker revenues, and so they will probably prioritize healthcare funding, social services and civil service wages. And this means that investment projects, especially into infrastructure, are likely to be delayed. So this does mean that there will be weaker opportunities for businesses selling to the public sector and investment projects.
Many African currencies have exhibited volatility as COVID-19 has spread. What can businesses expect in terms of currency movements in the coming months?
Yeah, so certainly several currencies have lost value quite considerably in recent months, especially countries that export commodities like oil, copper, as well as those countries that are deeply integrated with international trade, especially with Europe and China. So as you know, we've seen some significant adjustment of the Naira in recent months. The Rand has fallen by 20% against the dollar over the last 6 weeks or so. And the CD and the Kenyan shilling have also reached record lows over the last few weeks. Obviously, this is causing severe planning difficulties for multinationals, major headaches for companies that are domestic as well, that are importing products into their markets because this exposes them to foreign exchange losses. Looking ahead, we are expecting to see more currency depreciation. So we think the roller coaster ride is not over yet. Those current countries that are, again, exporting commodities and reliant on exports to Europe and China are probably going to depreciate further. So companies should prepare for further depreciation of currencies, which will make planning ahead for the next few months quite difficult.
Matt Kenniger, Senior Analyst, Sub-Saharan Africa at Docker Frontier London. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us.